Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We are continuing our run to of Captain America. We're going to issue 350, and I have a playlist where I've been covering the events that led to Captain America being removed as Captain America and John Walker essentially getting promoted to become the new Captain America. Um, so we are moving up to the grand finale of Captain America 350, where Steve Rogers will then return and take back the mantle of Captain America, and we finally get to see who's been pulling the strings um, from the beginning. So we started basically in issue 321. So, like I said, I have a playlist. Feel free to check that out. And so here we go. And good cover here. And of course, this is John Walker and Ron Friends and John Romita do this cover. And then this is no longer Bucky. He actually changed his name and his costume, and he's called Battlestar now. Routed by the Resistance is our title here. And here we are. I love how they all have the R. All right, here we go. Slippery people. And so Mark Gruenwald is the writer. Kieron Dwyer is the penciler, and Al Milgrom is the inker, with Ralph Macchio and Tom DeFalco doing the editorial here. And so we start with Captain America, John Walker, and of course Battlestar, and they're after someone. You see these spikes here. They both have their shields here, and it turns out that it's someone that they're hunting down, believing that they're a mutant because he has not registered. This is, of course, during the X-Men Follow the Mutants era, where the government wanted mutants to register. So he tries to explain to them that he's actually not a mutant. He's like the Fantastic Four, but here and they're like, well, we'll let the government sort it out because, hey, after all, even in the 80s, they knew the government wasn't to be trusted. So, all right, so he's scared and he doesn't want them to take him in, but they keep chasing after him here. And so here he says, I'm not a mutant. It's like the Fantastic Four. And John Walker says that's for the courts to decide. And look at that, they've even got a helicopter there. And Battlestar says, don't worry, man. The feds will treat you fairly. They've been totally righteous with me. Oh, Battlestar, the government. And then, of course, we get some self reflection here. He's like, man, we could be fighting supervillains. Instead, they send us after frightened kids. What difference does it make how a person got his superpowers, being born with them or getting them through a special process like Cap and I did? Powers are powers. Seems like this is just another way to find new minorities to oppress. Bingo. All right. So now we have Steve Rogers here as the captain. Eventually, John Walker will take over as the captain, and he will be called the U.S. agent. And so Diamondback and Captain America are helping the Serpent Society, who has been infiltrated by Viper. And so here we go. You see these guys tied up, and he says, Viper, help us. He's like, no time, idiot. And of course, he thinks you're a stinking witch. Whatever, throw in with her when she muscled in as head of the Serpent Society, Sidewinder never would have left any of us behind. And so they see this taken off here, and Cap throws his shield given to him by the Black Panther. Originally, Tony Stark gave him a shield, but he returned it. And him and Tony have sort of been on the outs since then. And so you see the ship is taken off, and Steve Rogers here, a little DeLuca effect here, and you can see boom up, and he grabs the bottom of that ship here. And so he can't get on board, so he's just gonna try to hold on here. He needs to get Viper, and she's trying to pull the landing gear, but she's getting in that landing gear is not working, and so she's gonna see if the video cameras are working and sees the captain in there. And so she's like, hey, I'm going to make things really interesting, see if I can shake it off. She's going to increase the speed of the ship here. And he's like, and I still haven't got myself a good grip, but he is not letting go. And the Falcon now is trying to keep up with them, but that ship is moving much too fast, and the Falcon is not able to keep up. So they're going to return. But then here's the other ship, and it turns out that Nomad and the other heroes are in there. And so Diamondback is the one that's flying. Diamondback is a member of the Serpent Society, but also was in a relationship with Steve Rogers for a time. And so they got this guy here to see if they can get some intel on Viper. And so this is Diamondback there with the pink hair. And so this guy's name is Slither. And of course, they're going to threaten him. He says, you'll get nothing from me. I'd sooner die than betray my mistress. And Nomad is like, we'll see about that, freak. And of course, Demon is like, I'm not sure Cap would approve. And of course, he's like, stuff it. And so now here comes back to the other ship. And these two are playing Gin Rummy. And here comes kind of like a meteorite. They call it a little fireball. And so Cap uses the shield to kind of protect himself and the people inside. And here comes those resistance with the big R in their chest here. And he wants the quote unquote mutant. And of course Cap is like, threaten this, you toaster head. And so they deflect the shield. And so Occult is one of them. Meteorite is the other. Hardway is another one. They all kind of have little names here. And so they continue attacking here. And here they go inside the ship here. Again, they're after that other guy. And eventually they do rescue him. And he says, why are you doing this for me? And of course they said, the mutant registration must be resistant. We want you to join our movement. And so the helicopter is falling down. And so now back to the other one. We see Viper here. And she is calling her minions down in Washington, D.C. And these guys, Copperhead and Cobra, are about to poison the water system in Washington, D.C. here. You can see that they're putting that poison in the reservoirs or whatever this place is here. These two see it, the purification tanks here, but they use these darts. And so, the ship with Nomad and D-Man and Diamondback is approaching the ship with Captain America here, and they're gonna use heat-seeking missiles on the other ship here, and they said that they overheard the poisoning, so they know that those other guys are gonna try to poison the water, and so they're gonna take the ship down. You can see she's like, "Watch this," and presses this button, and out come the heat seekers, and they hit the ship, and so she teleports out, and of course Steve Rogers like, this ship is gonna explode, and he thinks Viper is still inside, and so he jumps, but he doesn't have a parachute, and so he's gonna use the shield. Now the shield is made out of vibranium, because the Black Panther made him a new shield because he's having issues with Tony Stark, and so he is going to use the shield to take the kinetic energy and realizes Viper is down there. And once it does that, he jumps off. So, despite the fact that he fell all that distance, the shield sort of protects him. And so, um, Steve Rogers is very happy with this, and he runs toward a Viper. And she's like, "No, not him again." And so, I can't let him take me. So she uses her gun here, and that doesn't work. So then she throws it at him, and Cap jumps toward her. That's a nice reverse silhouette here, and she goes to bite him, but does not because he's got body armor. And so he uses like this Vulcan nerve pinch thingy here. So it makes her unconscious, and he takes off her ring. That's how she is able to teleport here. And then Nomad and everyone shows up, and Cap's happy because he was able to capture Viper. But then they tell him about the poisoning of Washington D.C. And so Cap is like, "Well, we better get there." And they call the Avengers Mansion, and he needs to get a hold of the White House and the Pentagon to let them know that the city is been poisoned. And so back to Captain America. Mark Gruenwald just kind of does that, kind of giving us two stories in each issue. Um, Captain America sees one of their soldiers dead, and you can see that Bucky, or former Bucky, um, Battlestar, there we go. He does not like it, and so they're gonna call the White House, and I think George Bush the first was in the White House, and but it could have been the end of Ronald Reagan's term. But anyway, there you can see that the phone is ringing, and the president says, "Now, who could it be at this hour?" And so, next issue, "Don't Tread on Me." So, Captain America 343 by Mark Renwald and Kieron Dwyer with Al Milgrom. Like and subscribe. I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.